She walks into the dimly lit wine cellar, her hand resting protectively on her swollen belly. Her husband's urgent text said he needed her signature on life insurance papers. Something quick, something simple. But the moment she crosses the threshold, everything changes. His mistress emerges from the shadows, rage twisting her perfectly made-up face. Without warning, she lunges forward, shoving the pregnant woman with brutal force into a marble wine rack. Glass explodes. Crimson wine cascades down her dress like accusatory bloodstains. The room freezes in horrified silence. No one moves to help. No one speaks. And then from the corridor's far end, footsteps echo, steady, purposeful, dangerous. A man in a dark coat appears, his eyes sweeping across the broken glass, the spreading wine, and the cruel truth everyone's been ignoring. What happens next will shatter more than glass. It will expose lies that run deeper than anyone imagined. Before we begin, we'd love to know, what time are you watching this? Drop your location in the comments. Your support means everything to us. The autumn evening cast golden light through Bellacourt Estate's wine cellar windows. Crystal chandeliers illuminated rows of vintage bottles worth more than most people's homes. Sophia Reed paused at the entrance, one hand steadying herself against the doorframe, the other cradling her 7-month belly. She'd received Marcus's text 30 minutes ago. Need you at the estate. Insurance papers. It's urgent. After weeks of cold silence between them, she'd hoped this meant reconciliation. Perhaps he wanted to discuss their future, their baby. Perhaps he remembered the man he used to be. The cellar felt cooler than she expected. Her pale blue maternity dress whispered softly as she moved deeper inside, scanning for Marcus. Instead, she found Victoria. Victoria Cross stood beside an antique tasting table, her crimson dress clinging like armor, her smile sharp as broken glass. "Sophia," she purred, blocking the pathway, "how lovely of you to waddle in." Sophia's stomach tightened, not the baby, but instinct. "I'm looking for Marcus. He asked me to meet him." "Did he?" Victoria circled slowly, predatory. "Or did I?" Before Sophia could process the words, Victoria moved. Her hand struck Sophia's shoulders with shocking violence. Sophia stumbled backward, her heel catching on uneven stone. Her hip collided with the marble wine rack. The impact sent lightning through her side. Wine bottles tumbled, shattering against the floor in explosive bursts. Red wine erupted upward, soaking her dress, dripping down her belly like wounds. Gasps echoed through the cellar. A dozen guests froze mid-conversation, wine glasses suspended in mid-air. Someone whispered, "She's pregnant." No one stepped forward. Sophia clung to the rack, terror flooding her veins. Her hands flew to her stomach, feeling desperately for movement. "Please, baby, please be okay," a tiny flutter answered. Relief and fear collided in her throat. "Why?" Sophia's voice cracked. "Why would you do this?" Victoria leaned closer, her perfume suffocating. "Because you're in the way. Marcus doesn't want you anymore. He hasn't for months. Showing up here just proves how pathetically blind you are." Tears burned Sophia's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here, not for Victoria. Footsteps approached, confident, familiar. Marcus appeared through the cellar's main entrance, his tailored suit immaculate, his expression cold as winter stone. He surveyed his pregnant wife on the floor, wine-stained and trembling with the detachment of someone observing a minor inconvenience. "Sophia," just her name, flat, empty. "Marcus, she pushed me." Sophia's voice shook. "Our baby, you're causing a scene," he interrupted, reaching into his jacket. He pulled out folded papers, extending them toward her like a business transaction. "Sign these." Sophia stared at the documents. "What are they?" "Divorce papers. This marriage is finished." The words struck harder than Victoria's shove. The cellar seemed to tilt. You texted me about insurance papers. I needed you here so you'd sign without the emotional delays." His voice carried no regret, no warmth. "Victoria and I are moving forward. You're the obstacle." Victoria moved beside him, sliding her hand around his arm possessively, triumphantly. Sophia's world fractured. Months of distance, of cold shoulders, of feeling invisible, it all crystallized into this moment. Her husband had orchestrated her humiliation. "I'm carrying your child." Marcus glanced at her stomach without emotion. "I'll provide financially, but I won't be trapped." Trapped. The word tasted like poison. Before Marcus could respond, new footsteps echoed, slower, heavier, deliberate. Everyone turned. A tall figure emerged from the service corridor dressed entirely in black. His presence shifted the atmosphere instantly, pulling focus like gravity. He moved with the quiet confidence of someone who'd walked into far worse situations and emerged victorious. "Sophia," he said, his voice deep and steady, her breath caught. "Uncle James." James Caldwell, her mother's brother, former FBI investigator, the family member who disappeared into quiet retirement years ago. She hadn't seen him in 5 years. "I was nearby," James said simply, his eyes moving from her stained dress to her protective hands on her belly, then to Marcus and Victoria. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Marcus straightened, attempting authority. "This is private. You need to leave." James ignored him completely, focusing on Sophia. "Are you hurt?" I don't know. The baby moved, but she pushed me hard." James finally turned his attention to Marcus. The temperature seemed to drop. "Is that true?" "This is none of your concern," Marcus snapped. "Answer the question." Victoria stepped forward defensively. She fell. It was her own clumsiness. James's eyes moved to Victoria with the patient, unblinking attention of a predator studying prey. "That's not what I asked." The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken threat. James extended his hand toward Sophia. "You're leaving with me, now." "She's staying until she signs," Marcus insisted, moving forward. James positioned himself between them. "No, she's not." Something in his voice, calm, absolute, immovable, made Marcus hesitate. Victoria's confidence faltered, her grip on Marcus's arm loosening. Sophia placed her trembling hand in James's. His grip was steady, grounding, safe. As James guided her toward the exit, Marcus called out desperately, "Sophia, you can't just walk away." She paused, turning to face the man she'd once loved. "I already did." In James's car, Sophia finally broke. Tears streamed down her face as the reality crashed over her. "He planned this, all of it." "I know," James said quietly, driving with focused precision. "And we're going to prove it." Within hours, James made calls to old colleagues. Security footage from the estate revealed something damning. The seller's cameras had been manually disabled 30 minutes before Sophia arrived. The access code, Marcus's personal login, but one camera, an old backup system Marcus didn't know existed, had captured everything. The push, Victoria's calculated cruelty, Marcus's cold manipulation. 2 weeks later, at Marcus's lavish charity gala, the footage played on every screen. Gasps filled the ballroom. Whispers became accusations. Marcus's face drained of color. Federal agents entered moments later. "Marcus Reed, you're under arrest for conspiracy, evidence tampering, and financial fraud." The investigation revealed more. Marcus had been embezzling from his company, and divorcing Sophia quickly would hide assets. Victoria had been promised a cut. Sophia stood on her cottage porch overlooking a peaceful lake, her son sleeping against her shoulder. The morning sun painted everything gold. James sat nearby, sipping coffee, having become the grandfather figure her son needed. "You saved us," Sophia said softly. James shook his head. "You saved yourself. I just showed up." She looked down at her baby boy, healthy and perfect. The nightmare felt distant now, a storm that passed, leaving her stronger than before. If this story touched your heart, if you've ever felt invisible in your own life, if you've survived betrayal and found the strength to rebuild, this video is for you. You are not alone. Your pain is valid. Your strength is real. Please hit that like button if you believe in justice. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so we can continue bringing you stories of survival and hope. And most importantly, drop a comment telling us what gave you strength in your darkest moment. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Thank you for being here. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for choosing yourself.